Okay, game week 3 is here. Let's have a look at some of the fixtures we've got coming up this weekend. Okay, let's kick off with Wolves against Man City as the first game of the weekend. I think Man City are going to win this game quite comfortably. I think Wolves are good, but defensively I don't think they are all that. They've conceded 2 goals in each of their first 2 games, and that was against teams that aren't anywhere near as good as Man City. City are fantastic, and they've got players that they can rotate back into that side to make them even fresher or give them more options. Sterling, Sane and Mahrez ought to be playing bigger roles this week. Hope is that Bernardo Silva continues to play and plays for 90 minutes and gets a little bit more involved in goals this week. I think Wolves are good, and I think they're going to persist with their admirable passing game, but I think that's the sort of thing that will just get picked off by quicker, stronger Man City players. I just don't think also that they're well drilled enough to defend as a unit in the way that they need to against this City team. They need to kind of dig in. I think they'll try and play their way through the game, and that's a dangerous thing when you're playing City, because you risk losing possession in the middle of the field and leave yourself open to fast breaks, counter-attacks. It's just so self-defeating against this Man City team. Who knows, maybe Wolves will cavalier their way to a 2-0 win, but I just can't see it happening. So I'm signing Aguero and I'm going to captain him. I think this is going to be another decent haul for the Man City team. Arsenal versus West Ham. I think Arsenal will win this game, and I can see some of the players like Aubameyang and Mkhitaryan having a good points return. I don't think West Ham will have quite got their shit together, to be perfectly honest. They haven't looked great in their first 2 games, and the squad just doesn't quite look right. And I rate Pellegrini, but I just don't know if it's going to take. I think it's going to take them time. I think Arsenal are going to be shaking something out of their system as well. They've had a frustrating first couple of games against 2 of the best teams in the league, and I can see them kind of opening up on West Ham and getting a good few goals. I think West Ham will struggle to get the ball, and when they do, they won't really know what to do with it. Arnautovic and Chicharito are good, but they're not the fastest, and pace can challenge that Arsenal defence, but I just don't think that they'll have enough to get the ball consistently or to move forward with it well. So I think Arsenal are going to win. I think Aubameyang is probably going to score, and it's the beginning of a great run of fixtures for Arsenal. Bournemouth-Everton, I think it's hard to call. Probably like a 1-1, probably goals for Richarlison and for Wilson. We'll see. It'll be a good game to watch this one. I think that the 2 teams are both playing quite well, both relatively evenly matched. Huddersfield versus Cardiff. This is a massive relegation 6-pointer already. These 2 teams are going to be in big trouble, I think, at the end of the season. This would be a massive away point for Cardiff if they could pull it off. I don't think they can, though. I think Huddersfield will be stronger and probably get the win in this one. I'm not particularly interested in players on either side, though, to be honest, but it will be a significant result either way. Southampton versus Leicester. I think this is one that's a tough call to make as well. Danny Ings has looked good. I was very close to signing him for this week. I'd like to watch him for another week and just get a sense of kind of exactly how that team's settling down. And then on the other side, you've got James Maddison, who obviously got his first goal last week and is exciting lots of people. Again, I want just one more game watching him to kind of wrap my head around it before making any decisions. Watching Ings and Maddison closely in this one. Okay, Liverpool versus Brighton. I think this is probably going to be a big win for Liverpool. Got to declare my anti-Brighton bias again. I still don't think they're that good. I think they were. And weirdly, they didn't need to be that good to beat Man United last week. But overall, I just don't rate them. I don't think their central defensive partnership is all that great at all. They get some credit for it in the press, Duffy and Dunk, but I think they're a bit slow as a partnership. They've always got a yellow or a red card in them, and this week they're going to be without Dunk, so they could even get worse. Although maybe actually Dunk being out of the team will make Brighton's defence better. Either way, I don't think they've got what it takes to stop this Liverpool attack, who at home will be irresistible and looking to score plenty of goals. I think Liverpool will be a little bit cagier and a little bit more deliberate away from home, as you saw against Palace last week. But at home against a team like Brighton, I think that they're just gonna go for it. But that said, I think Brighton are more solid and more compact than Wolves are in the corresponding game, which is why I'm going to be captaining Aguero and not Salah or Firmino. So yeah, I think Liverpool to win this one comfortably, but perhaps not as comfortably as Wolves. Perhaps not as comfortably as Man City will beat Wolves. Watford versus Palace. I think this game will be tight. The 2 teams are pretty good, and they're both on pretty good form. I hope Palace will get a win. Now, Wilf Zaha has quite a good record against Watford in the last few years. Often causes them trouble and is regularly the best player on the pitch when we play against them. So I'm hoping for something for him this weekend. Newcastle versus Chelsea. I think Chelsea will be fine in this game. Newcastle don't really seem to be offering a lot going forward. I think they were pretty disappointing last week against Cardiff. Chelsea look good. They seem to be settling in under Sarri quite well. The players seem a bit happier and more positive in kind of the style of play. So I'd expect, the usual suspects in that team, Kante, Pedro and Alonso to all do well this weekend. Also even Morata too, who got a goal last week and looked like he was getting back to a bit of form. Manchester United versus Spurs. I think United will win this one. It's just kind of the classic Mourinho way. They have this habit of winning when everyone's kind of complaining about them, and just when you think that it's time to kind of give up on this team, they get a win. It's annoying, but that's what seems to happen. I think Spurs will be a better team, but will somehow lose. If they don't, I think it would be good to see if Kane can get a goal against them. I really like Lucas Moura. I'm really thinking closely about signing him. But just for Spurs attackers, I just think it's going to be a tough day. Even though United's defence looked terrible against Brighton last week, I think they'll sort that out and they're at home this week. So I'm taking Kane out of my team for this week as a result of this and switching for Aguero. I just think that's mainly due to the fixtures. Beyond this game, I think Spurs have got Liverpool soon, and that's going to be another tough game for them. I said I was going to wildcard in my video from earlier in the week, and I've actually decided against doing that. I'm sorry. As things calmed down after the game week 2 debacle, and I had a little bit more time to think about it, I decided to make just the one transfer this week. I thought I might make 2, but I made just the one transfer. I really just needed one more round of games to make some calls and to help justify some of the decisions that I've got in mind for my wildcard. Some of those decisions involve looking at some of the fixtures this weekend, and this weekend in particular, I feel like I can pick a team where nearly all of my players have got really relatively easy fixtures. In terms of the fixture difficulty rating, I think they're all playing level 2 or level 3 games. As long as they all start and they all play well, it should be a good week with what I've got, and I wanted to be able to take advantage of that. I think next week might be the time to wildcard. I definitely want to bring in more Arsenal and Chelsea players based on the fixtures that are coming up over the next 5 or 6 games. But I'm kind of relatively well exposed to a couple of other teams that have got good fixtures coming up in Bournemouth and Palace. So I'm actually feeling okay this week. I just want to give it one more go, see how I get on, see if this move for Aguero pays off, see if my feelings are right about this Man United Spurs game, and take it from there. So listen, thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. Let me know how you're getting on, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.